Yeah, so
Okay,
I was looking
let's.
at it, and
I say, hang on. Let's try this again. Apparently, when I started this earlier, it went for like 2 seconds maybe, and then quit. So I'm actually broadcasting straight from. What are you talking about? Oh, I should. No, I don't. Do not close. XSplit. XSplit decided to freak out. So we're. I don't want to do that. You've got to be kidding me. Hush. Forget you, XSplit. Um, Yeah, so XSplit froze while I was in the middle of broadcasting. So as far as I know, absolutely nothing that I said went out over the. Were you able to confirm that, Jimmy?
you have 1 minute and 12 seconds
So yeah,
total
basically
on
nothing.
YouTube.
So here's what I know, and I'm coming up on Facebook hopefully soon. Here's what I know: there was a shooting at YouTube headquarters in California. 4 people are injured. There's mixed reports about whether or not those people were actually injured by the shooter or if they were just injured trying to get out of the building, being trampled or roughed up or whatever. Um, the shooter or the suspect is was found dead. The suspect is a female. The wound that killed her appears to have been self-inflicted. The 4 people that I mentioned earlier are headed to the hospital. The hospital that was interviewed and is expected to be receiving them has stated that they don't know what condition that these people are coming in because, again, the reports are range from like I read one article that didn't say anything at all about what kind of condition they were in. Another report seemed to suggest that 3 of them were injured by the shooter. Uh, so we don't really know. If you're wondering why we're covering this, we're a gaming channel. Uh, First of all, we have a big presence in YouTube. So even though this might not really affect us directly, I mean, we're going to be able to continue operating and stuff like that. Um, we're in the YouTube community. These even though we don't know any of these people, we're operating on a platform that they work with. So in a way, we kind of work with them like very indirectly, and we want to cover what's going on here and we want to be able to pray for them. That's another reason that I wanted to do this. CNN and Fox and MSNBC and BBC or wherever else you get your news from, they're probably going to put a political spin on it. It would not surprise me one bit to find out that some of them had already done this. Again, I don't know. I'm not watching them, so I can't say for sure that this is happening. That's just kind of what I expect of them. So that's where we're at. So I wanted to come on here and do this because we're going to just tell you what's happening so that you can be aware of it and you've been praying for the people who are involved, people who are there, um, the families of the people who were there, the family of this person who did this. I mean, I'm sure none of the people that this person is related to were like, "Hey, I hope this happens," you know. So this needs to happen. All right, XSplit is up, so I'm gonna start. Actually, I went ahead and changed my resolution down to 720p and the frame rate to 30. I was recording a game last time I used this, and I should have thought to change. Nope, that's not what I want. No, 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 no. Don't do that. That was YouTube. Cancel. I don't know what will happen if I'm trying to stream from two different places. Facebook, that's what I want. So yeah, bear
So,
with me. We will, as long as XSplit doesn't freak out again, we'll be up on Facebook here real soon.
according
Okay.
to the national
Yeah,
Fox
so
News
those of
people,
you who are joining us on Facebook, I'll just recap again. There's an active shooter at YouTube headquarters in California, 4 people injured. We don't know if it's from trying to get out of the building or having been shot. The shooter, suspected shooter, was found dead from a self inflicted gunshot wound. The 4 injured people are headed to the hospital, and we don't know what condition that they are in. And that is what we know. And I'm trying to get verification that we are actually live
well, I'm watching
on
us on YouTube at
Facebook.
the moment.
Okay. Yes, we are live on Facebook. I don't see any, even if XSplit craps out, I'm using Hangouts on Air for YouTube, so YouTube should be fine. So I'm not super worried about that. Jimmy, you're the one who told me about it. What do you know? Anything?
Well, yeah, I actually sat and watched through
I
the.
can't hear you. Are you muted? Is your headset off? Like I can't hear
No,
you
no.
at all. It's not like a
Okay,
little bit. Like
okay.
there's
Stop, stop.
nothing.
Zip, zip.
It's like your mic's
Shush.
not on.
Stop. The mic is on. I am on YouTube. I can hear me.
No.
No,
All right. Well,
I,
you
I
know when
can
you see
hear
funny
me.
videos of technical difficulties on CNN, don't just laugh at them. It happens to us too. I don't know what's
Okay,
he can clearly
stop.
hear me. So
Shush. I can
something
hear
about
you.
his
I
let me
can
make
hear
sure.
me.
Let me make sure that I can hear anything. But I could hear him earlier.
That's
I'm going to
question.
test my playback device here and see
Okay.
if I hear it. Yeah,
You
I
can
hear my
hear me on the
playback device. So
YouTube.
my
You can
sound on
hear
my
me on
computer is
YouTube.
working.
You can hear me on
I don't know
YouTube.
what's going
You
on
can
with you,
hear me on
Jimmy. Let me make
YouTube.
sure you're not muted in Hangouts
You can hear
that
me
I
on
can see.
YouTube.
No. So wait, when you figure it out,
No,
come
you.
let me
You're the one with the
know.
problem.
I don't. He
Shush.
sounds angry. He
Shush.
looks angry.
Shush.
While he's
Shush.
doing that,
Stop
let me
talking.
pull up my Google search
Ah,
for this because
damn
honestly,
it.
this is how I find things out. YouTube shooting. Let's see if we got any more recent stuff.
The
Nope.
problem
I
is
believe
you.
someone, and it
I
might have been
can
Jimmy. I think he
be
said something about
heard on
there was going to be a press
YouTube.
release coming out soon regarding the issue. What's weird, Jimmy, is that apparently Hangouts can hear you because when you talk, you trigger the thing popping to you.
I am aware of
Why
that.
can't
Why do
I
you
hear
think I
that?
keep telling you to stop
Now
talking?
I wish I could get someone else. The problem is you. I can be heard on YouTube. Well, I don't know. Because my computer sound is working. Now I want to
Obviously not.
know if we can hear you on Facebook.
I don't know if you can hear me on Facebook. I know you can hear me on YouTube because I'm actually watching the YouTube right now. But as I was trying to say when you started talking, we do actually know the
Hang
condition of
on.
the people. One is in
No.
critical, one is serious, and two are non-life threatening. One fatality.
Okay.
And
So
Fox,
this is weird.
the national news is saying
This is
that
weird.
this.
Everybody on Facebook can hear you because I just pulled it up to watch it and they can hear you. But I can't. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
Son
it
of a
does.
gun. What is
The sense is that it's on your end. I'm telling you. But the national feed is saying that this is probably just a domestic violence
what the
incident.
crap is happening?
So I've been sitting here trying to get your attention and tell you to hush for a minute so I can say what I have
Hang
to
on.
say.
I'm going to try one more thing that I think might actually open volume mixer. Well, that wouldn't make any sense either. Chrome is volume is up. Jimmy, I don't know what to tell you. I kind of wish somebody else could get in the thing so I could find out if it's for some reason just you. But that what doesn't make any sense to me is that you're getting to Facebook. All right, nobody wants to watch us try and troubleshoot this. So I'm just going to keep talking and I really can't control what you do. um Hopefully whatever the heck is going on, if someone out there is watching and wants to be like, hey, I know what your problem is, please let me know because I have no
Try
idea.
selecting your
This is weird.
audio
My computer
output
is a
device.
piece
Make
of
sure
garbage.
that it's
The
correct.
best part about this is I'm talking and so is he, so it doesn't matter what any of us are saying. You're not going to be able to hear what's going on. This is great. I hope this winds up on some YouTube blooper reel. New York Times is reporting 4 wounded in shooting. The Guardian, same thing. I checked my output device. I can hear literally everything else happening on my computer. The only thing I can't hear is you, but my computer can clearly hear you because XSplit can hear you and it's sending it to Facebook.
You need a new computer, mate.
Everybody on Facebook just heard my test chime for this. I can even pull up. Yeah, I can hear. I know. I need a new computer. The only reason I know you said that was because I pulled up Facebook. Well, we're working on getting me a new computer. Yeah, that's. I'm gonna. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna see if I can't get someone else.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Did you do
Well, that was
something?
yeah. I turned it off and turned it back on.
I
Everyone
don't
else could
know.
hear me, so it's obviously something to do with your end, not mine.
I don't know. Anyway,
Whatever.
all right.
Utterly amusing.
Did you get out what you know? Because
I
that's
was
when I
trying
lost
to,
you.
but every time I tried to, you started talking again.
All right, what do you know?
At this point, I don't know much. The national Fox feed, which was taking cues from the local Fox feed, said that the 4 injured, one was critical, one was severe. I can't remember the word they used, but it was not quite critical, and 2 were non-life threatening, and that it was probably a domestic violence issue.
That did give me an idea to look up. So Fox is KTVU. Here's their, excuse me, here's their website. Because they probably have more up to date information than I don't want to listen to whatever it is you have to say. I want to
Well,
read
fine then.
something, not you.
Well,
Wow,
pressure
this
should be in about 10 minutes.
okay. This website has no written content on it whatsoever. It's all video. Yeah, so I'll just to recap for anybody who might be joining us. Actually, let me share this because nobody's in here. If you're joining us here just recently, shooter at YouTube headquarters, which is just south of San Francisco in California. 4 people injured, not sure from what. One report left out any of that information at all. Another report said that 3 of them at least were injured by the shooter. The suspected shooter, was found dead, self-inflicted gunshot wound. They have the weapon. They haven't released what it is. Maybe because they don't know what it is yet, just that it's a gun. The 4 injured people are headed to local hospitals. The local hospitals have given statements and said that they don't know what condition the victims are in. So that's what we know. We are bringing this to you because we want to give you the facts, and so that y'all can be out there praying about it, and not worried about whether or not some talking head thinks that we should turn this into a political issue, because this isn't a political issue. This is about people getting hurt, and we as Christians need to be there to pray for the people who are there, who are directly involved, the people's families, the families of the person who went and did the shooting. Gosh, I wonder if they even know yet.
I imagine
Because,
they do at this point.
yeah, probably.
Or at least they know what happened. They may not know it was actually their family or not. But with the news organizations and the political parties, they're going to make it a political statement one way or the other.
Oh, yeah.
But before that's happened, I haven't seen that actually happening yet. What I have seen is that the memes have already started.
Oh, wow. Memes are faster than news, that's for sure.
Memes are more accurate than news half the time.
That's true too. It's just sad. Oh, I already read this article. Let's see. Yep. Not really any new information yet. Hopefully, we'll get a presser soon, and we'll be able to tell you more because that'd be way more interesting than watching me stare at my computer screen and Jimmy driving.
Watching me drive is fun.
Watching me drive in Euro Truck Simulator is fun.
I'm not a big fan of Euro Truck Simulator. I use it as a training tool. That's it.
And I failed. Let me see here. Yeah, I wish I had more to offer. And we're not a 24-hour news organization, so I can't just jump to something else or jump to some commentator. Not that I would want to, because they would just say something stupid.
That's what we have Darman for.
Where is he?
I don't know. I figured he'd pop in. He's probably at work.
He's probably at work.
Well,
Yeah.
no, it's 6:30 over there. Is he still doing 12s?
I don't know. I hesitate to just throw a link in the contributor chat because I don't want.
Ask Ned to pop in. He seems to be up on top of things.
That's true. Let me see.
Matter of fact, he tends to be more on top of things than most of us when it comes to new stuff. Probably ought to ask him to get in on that.
Yeah, I'm asking if he's available privately. Because, like I said, I don't want to just throw a link in the chat and all, I don't know, 17 of them or however many are in there decide they want to jump in at the same time.
I don't know that that would necessarily be a bad thing, honestly.
Well, let me see.
I mean, you know, this is a somber occasion with a very heavy message, but I mean, we are basically an entertainment group.
Yep. Facebook, you're gonna lose your picture because I don't necessarily want everybody out there seeing the link to get in here and then pausing the video and all right. Oh shoot, I thought I got dang, and then I left it up there. So great. Hopefully, we won't have any problems. I don't think we will. I don't think our audience base is big enough to cause problems. Well, Sam sees it, so maybe we'll get him in here. Let me search the Google again.
I gotta tell Sam to keep an eye out for Newegg. There's probably gonna be a flash game based on this in about 10 minutes.
Oh gosh. Looks like
That's
Steve.
how it works.
Yeah.
It's like Postal 7, YouTube HQ.
You know what?
You ever...
I'm going to do this. YouTube, I don't think you'll hear this because you can't just hear my PC audio, but Facebook, you'll hear this. YouTube, I'll try and keep you filled in. So police arrived at 12:48 local time. This is an interview with a cop. When they got there, employees were leaving. Filled in. So they encountered at least one victim with what appeared to be a gunshot wound. After they evacuated the building, they went in and they located a second individual that appeared to have a gunshot wound. Don't know exactly the extent of the injuries of the victims yet. There's definitely 4 victims, not including the shooter. And they're being taken to the hospital. They're not 100% certain that the person with the self-inflicted gunshot wound is in fact the shooter, but all the evidence is pointing that direction.
It'd be kind of a leap to suspect that somebody shot them and then just handed them the gun
Right.
and then pulled a what Nicholas Cruz and tried to escape in the crowd.
Yeah, he was the Parkland shooter, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's just off the top of my head. Because
Yeah.
honestly, the only name that anybody knows from that whole damn thing is Hog.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, he's ending. He's wrapping up. So, I don't that by the way, that wasn't live. That was just a video that CBS has posted. I don't know how long ago they posted it, but they're in the process of sweeping the entire building, making sure that they didn't miss anybody, that they didn't miss anything. Of course, they'll have their investigation into it, and hopefully, it's the bottom of this. No, that particular video did not mention anything about possible motive. Jimmy, did you say something about it? Somebody thought that was probably just domestic?
That is what they said on the national Fox feed. And then there was discussion briefly about it started from a fight at a company party or get together or something.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't really big on details, but I mean, that is breaking coverage type deal.
Right.
We'll probably hit 5 or 6 stories before we come even close to the truth. Whoa.
Yeah, that's uh, that's how it happens, and that's even if we even do find out exactly what happened. Um, so domestic, as in an argument that happened between two people at the company.
Um, well, I mean, when I think domestic, I think between two people in a relationship. But
Well, that's what I was thinking.
then they went and said that it had something to do with a fight at a party on the premises. So I don't know.
Right? Who knows what
Um,
that means?
any conjecture on my part would be completely disingenuous,
Yeah,
and I'm all about that journalistic integrity.
indeed. Um, Nothing's being updated. This is what actual coverage of breaking news looks like. It's not all glitz and glam, and there's a lot of not a whole lot going on that gets filled with nonsense when you're watching television. And
That's
I
the biggest
used
thing that bothers me about it is that everything is always it's not really news anymore. It's opinion pieces.
right, and I shut up advertisement. Yeah, I used to work in television, and that was the thing that bothered me was when you ran out of information, like we have, you got to keep something up there. So you just bring in these talking heads to start saying whatever the heck it is that's on their mind, whether it's true or not, and it's not helpful.
This is
uh,
how opinions get pushed. A
right.
lot of the all those fake news articles and whatnot you're always hearing about. I mean, a lot of it stems from these so-called experts and their expert opinions as opposed to actual facts. Because I mean, I could throw up all sorts of conjecture. I mean, right now I've got probably 100 plausible responses to what this
Yeah.
might have been. But if I said any one of them in any way that misconstrued it as that's what happened, then poof, there you go. I'm part of the problem.
Hmm. So now, don't get me wrong, the way they do it, way more entertaining than what I'm doing right now. But if you're interested in being entertained, go watch a movie. That's what I say.
Mm, I disagree. I think you should be more entertaining.
Well,
Far Cry 5 just came out to rave reviews.
that's true. But I did a video about that. You can go watch that.
I did, but I was only part of the video. And I counter with I've seen a lot of other reviews about it that had nothing at all to do with its message.
Uh, uh I didn't start seeing negative reviews that had anything to do with the game itself until like Sunday or yesterday. Um,
Right.
but one
Well,
thing that
that being
I,
said,
yeah,
you're going to turn around and there's going to be that renewed fervor of anti-violence in video games.
yeah, it'll happen, which just makes me want to play the
Came
game
out,
more.
look what just this guy runs around with a bear and a dog shooting people up, and what happens? YouTube gets shot up.
Yeah, it's Ubisoft's fault.
Well, I mean, yeah, of course, obviously.
Here's an
Is it
article.
Ubi or Ubi? Because I always call it Ubi.
I say Ubi. I don't think I've ever heard anybody that works there say the word, so I don't know. Aren't they? They're a French company, right?
Right. So it's probably
Oh.
Ubi.
Yeah, I don't know if where they're from has anything to do with how it's said, but
Well, no, they're actually. I thought they were French Canadian,
oh, is it
like
French Canadian?
Montreal, Montreal.
Maybe it is. I don't know why I was thinking they were in France.
Well, because I mean, who can tell the difference between one
Yeah,
Frenchie and another?
that's true.
Got all them Frenchies in Louisiana and Quebec and that weird country that I think they call it Little Germany. Um, oh, France, that's right. Um, they all have like the same sort of patois to them. So I mean, the only way you can really tell the difference is like what kind of food do they eat. Like the Canadian French, they like macaroni. The Louisianan French like crawfish, and the French like baguettes.
Hmm. So this article from the Star Tribune, and
Where is the Star Tribune out of?
I feel like they're in Minnesota, but I don't know that 100% certain.
I would have said Dallas, honestly. The
I
only
don't.
reason why I ask is because I mean it's a name that I've heard of, but I'm trying to ensure that the veracity of the article is trustworthy, I guess.
Let's find out. I think I might be getting them confused with the Minneapolis Star.
Yeah, probably. Because Star
So
Tribune, I thought, was one of those Facebook fake news sites where people link articles from, like the like Red State and things of that nature.
there is a Star Tribune in Minnesota. There's I can't tell from this Wikipedia article if it's the same one because there's also a similarly named one in Wyoming. But anyway, what there? I read something that I was gonna point out, and I don't. Oh, they talked with someone who has apparently made it back. According to this, has made it back safely to his family in San Francisco, which must mean they're starting to let people go home,
Yeah,
assuming that they're okay.
according to the video that I was watching on Fox, they had a staging area where the police had sequestered witnesses in order to grill them before they let them go.
Mhm.
So
And then probably get checked out by paramedics on site and all that stuff. Uh, but this article also has the headline Woman shoots and wounds four at YouTube before killing herself. And while that is likely what happened, I don't know that it's a good idea for people to be claiming that that is absolutely 100% certain what happened, especially in their headline.
the lower third of the video um, thumbnail that I was watching from Fox, it doesn't even say what it was about. It just starts off with self-inflicted gunshot or woman found with self-inflicted gunshot wound, and I'm like, well, that couldn't possibly be the video I'm looking for,
Yeah.
but it
So,
was.
well,
I mean, that's not how I would have led the story myself.
yeah, that seems like a weird way to. Here we go. USA Today just posted something 7 minutes ago. Um, According to police and witnesses, someone began shooting inside YouTube headquarters around 12:46. Hang on. Oh, wait, I forgot. I'm in Chrome. I can just mute the tab. Hush. Okay. Around 12:46 p.m. Pacific, when the first 911 call came in, police officers arrived on the scene 2 minutes later and found the first victim close inside the building's entrance.
2 minutes.
That's
That's amazing.
I know.
I'm just thinking, okay, well, you know what they're going to say now? It's going to be another one. Well, the cops are sitting and ready and waiting, just like they did with Parkland and Sandy Hook and all that garbage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can smell the conspiracy theorists from a mile away at this point.
Yep. At least 4 were injured. In recounting the incident, San Bruno Police Chief Ed Barberini said his officers found 4 people. We know that clarification wasn't immediately, hang on, but later he said 4 people were taken to a hospital for treatment. Okay, so this is saying that the language that was used could mean that one of the 4 injured is the shooter, and not necessarily that it was 4 people plus the shooter. So it could just be that there's 3 people injured and then the shooter is dead. Police said the suspect
That's
shooter.
not the way I heard it, but
That's not the way I read it in the other articles either, um, or the
because
way that I
according to
understood
what
it from
Fox
that.
said specifically was one was critical, one was wounded bad, and 2 were non-life threatening plus the dead shooter.
Yeah. So maybe whoever wrote this either did a better job than everybody else or is confused. Police said the suspected shooter is a woman, but offered no additional details about her connection to the area or anyone hurt in the attack. Female mass shooters are rare, which I mentioned earlier, but I actually might have mentioned that when my computer crashed, so maybe
The
nobody heard it.
funny thing about that is that the first mass shooting in American history, modern American history rather, was perpetrated by a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first school shooting was a woman, 1960 something, 67, I think. Don't quote me on that
I
year though. I was actually
yeah.
reading an article about that. Can't remember what she said, but it was really creepy. It was one of those like graveyard shift things on Facebook.
Let's see. Um no, I don't know who this is. Here we go. Wikipedia. They never steer me wrong. I want organized by year. Wikipedia has, so you've got a shooting known as the Camden shootings from 1949. Howard Barton Unruh was an American mass shooter who shot and killed 13 people during a 12-minute walk throughout his neighborhood on September 6, 1949. The next one is the University of Texas tower shooting.
So they're
Uh,
skipping quite a bit.
on August 1st, 1966, after stabbing his mother and his wife to death, Charles Whitman, a former Marine, took rifles and other I think I've heard of this one. Others to the
Yeah.
observation deck atop the main tower at the University of Texas in Austin, then opened fire on persons indiscriminately on the surrounding campus and streets. Over the course of
Yeah,
90
they
minutes, he killed
actually
16 people.
parodied that whole thing, strangely enough, on King of the Hill.
Yeah, I remember that. It was Dale
Yep.
went kind of psycho. And then the next one in line is James Rupert. Yeah, I don't know. So, oh, we might have some comments. No, someone's responding to a photo. Okay, back to the USA Today article. Shooting happened at YouTube headquarters. Police have evacuated everyone from the main YouTube building and are now searching it closely for any additional victims or threats. They've also begun collecting evidence as they work to reconstruct the crime scene. Google, which owns YouTube, told its staff and visitors to stay away from the area.
I would too.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm just thinking there's gonna have to be a lawsuit. I mean, you know, you're gonna see a lawsuit from the employees saying there wasn't enough security,
Yeah,
even if it wasn't their fault.
I could make a horrible mistake and see what Twitter has to say about this.
That would be a horrible mistake, but go
It
ahead.
would be, but I'm gonna see what I got. Um, local Fox affiliate interviewing a guy who says, "I didn't have a gun on me, but I wish I did." Um,
I mean, that's about the same thing with me and the Aurora shooting. I was supposed to be at that movie,
I
and
think
I
I remember,
carried a
remember you
gun in my
telling
truck.
me. Remember you telling
Yeah,
us about that.
the only reason why I wasn't there was because my damn Ranger wouldn't start. And then the
Uh,
next morning it started up just fine. Serendipity. I always kept my 45 in the truck. So,
these Twitter comments are not as vile as I assumed they
you're
were
probably not
going
looking
to
in the
be.
right place,
Well, I just hashtag YouTube shooting.
right?
You know, I mean, there is one lefty saying that if you're saying it's too early to get political about this, no, it's too late. And then there's another guy making a comment about YouTube probably being a gun-free zone. So it's going both ways.
Right.
A lot of people with check marks that I've never heard of.
I know, right?
Like, who are you people? I'm not saying that
Yeah,
means
it's
they don't
weird.
deserve their check mark, just that I don't know who they are.
Well,
What?
I don't know enough about Twitter to know what goes into it.
Um, okay, now I'm getting into the political stuff. So I guess the just the news somehow worked its way up to the top of the list, and unconfirmed reports are coming in from multiple sources that the YouTube headquarters shooter is a known white supremacist YouTuber by the name of Stephen Bont. What? Shut up.
Okay, here we go.
Back to your.
This is the Cleveland Elementary School shooting, I believe, is what I was thinking of. 1979 in San Diego. 16-year-old girl Brenda Spencer, uh, in prison still to this day. Uh, Pled guilty to 2 counts of murder and assault with a deadly weapon and was given an indefinite sentence. Now, you don't hear about that much. Indefinite.
No.
2 deaths, 9 injuries. Yeah, this was the lady I was thinking of. When a reporter asked her why she did it, she answered, "I don't like Mondays."
Wow. Well,
So, I mean, political or not, these people are just disturbed people,
oh yeah.
and I'm inclined to believe that unless that person who is the suspect was like a concealed carry holder, and it's highly unlikely in San Francisco area, um,
Mm-hmm.
then it was, I don't know, probably a crime of passion. But it could have also been planned. I don't know. I guess I should say that. Hey, Ned.
Hey,
Yeah.
everybody.
Hey, Ned. What's going on?
You
Um,
know what's going on.
yeah, I do. I saw a tweet that I was gonna at the very least comment on. Oh, Philip DeFranco's already got a video up about it.
Who's that?
That's he's a YouTuber who actually reports the news most of the time. I mean, he throws his opinion in there every now and again. But before he throws his opinion in, he covers the facts of the story very, very, very well. I'm sure a lot of people who watch us enjoy watching him. I like his stuff. I don't always agree with some of his commentary at the end of his videos, but I appreciate that the news portion of his show is news and it's very clearly separated into here's what happened and here's what I think about it and not the nonsense that you get everywhere else. Ned, do you know what? I mean, I'm sure you don't know anything that we don't already know, but I'm wondering what you know. So if I need to get you up to speed, I can.
Well, from what I've been able to help follow the incident, and since I just got home from work, I haven't been able to follow it too closely. But it's my understanding what happened is that there was a domestic dispute of some sort, and that a person that they've preliminarily identified as a woman walked in, shot her boyfriend, shot several other people, then shot herself.
Define several.
Yeah.
There were reports of up to 4 injuries.
Right,
Okay.
we got that much. The
Yeah.
question was because we want to make sure we're using accurate verbiage.
Right. So yeah, like I've just been kind of reading what I can find on Google. Um, and again, for people who are just joining us, there has been a shooting at YouTube headquarters in just south of San Francisco, California. The suspected shooter is dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Uh, she's a female. So most of the articles that we read said that there were 4 injured people, and then the shooter. A USA Today article made it sound like that it was possible that it was 4 total people that included the shooter. That's not the impression that I got from listening to the police officer, the sheriff, whoever he was, giving his statement. But that just want to throw that out there that that's something the USA Today said. It's possible that it's 4 total people, and that includes the shooter. The other injuries, the police officer during his little press thing definitely said that 2 of the victims appeared to have gunshot wounds. He did not confirm that they had gunshot wounds, just they appeared to have gunshot wounds. And I don't remember him mentioning what the third person or what the other people had. And I haven't run across the theory that it was a domestic dispute, but Ned Jimmy also heard that on Fox News, so there may be some validity to that. Like we don't really know what's going
Well,
on. I keep hoping that someone's going to release a press thing soon because the building's already been evacuated. Police are sweeping the building, making sure they didn't miss any victims or any other evidence. Of course, they'll do their investigation, and we'll find out what's going on. Um, the the woman who is suspected to have been the shooter is dead. So if she actually is the shooter, um, there won't be a trial or anything because you don't put dead people on trial. Uh, And again, if you're just now joining us and you're wondering to yourself why we're covering this, it's because we want to bring you the facts without the political or the social mumbo jumbo. And we want you all to be aware of what's going on so that you all can be at home praying for the people who are involved, the families of the people who are involved, the police officers, and everybody else who's out there, and who I think probably gets forgotten about the most in this, the family of the shooter. I know it's real easy to be like, that person's a dirtbag, they don't deserve anything, but that her family didn't do this. and
And
they,
chances are they're going to be suffering from it for years coming.
oh yeah, for a long time. So they need our prayers just as much as anybody else involved in this. So, like I said earlier, even though none of us know any of those people, we don't know anybody at YouTube, but we are part of the YouTube community, and so that's how it relates to us here at CrossForge Gaming. Um, and yeah, I apologize that we're not super entertaining like what you might find on 24-hour news, but we're just we're just here talking about it and just kind of being here and keeping everybody up to date. So
To be perfectly fair, I'm trying to be entertaining.
let me see if there's anything else yet. CNN
So now
has.
here's a question. What kind of security does YouTube have at their corporate offices? I mean,
I
obviously it's
don't
not
know.
armed security, otherwise you would have heard something about that.
It's
Yeah, I
my
don't know.
understanding that the YouTube campus is supposed to be a gun-free zone, a no weapons facility.
Right?
Past that, I'm afraid I don't know.
Oh, well, and with it being in California, even if YouTube headquarters wasn't a gun-free zone, I would imagine it'd be difficult to get anything in there anyway. All right, CNN.
Obviously not.
Well, anything in
I
there
gotta be
would.
honest with you, getting anything into a facility in California would be dreadfully easy. I could do it right now if I wanted to. Just about
Yeah.
anywhere except a federal or state-run building.
CNN is reporting so 3 people from today's shooting at YouTube headquarters were treated for gunshot wounds at Zuckerberg's San Francisco General Hospital and Trauma Center. This is according to a
Zuckerberg?
surgeon. Yeah, I read that and was like, the Facebook guy? But no. Um, this is a terrible day in the United States, said Andre Campbell, the hospital's trauma surgeon. All right, so the 3 victims are. Oh, they don't have their names. There's a 32-year-old woman in serious condition, a 27-year-old woman in fair condition, and a 36-year-old man in critical condition. So the fair condition person will probably ultimately be okay. I understand critical condition could mean that they're not conscious or they're bleeding real bad, loss of blood. I'm guessing serious condition is in between the two. I'm
Yeah,
not
pretty
I'm not
much.
a I'm not a doctor. I don't know.
Generally speaking, your critical patients are going to be in critical care after triage, and they're going to have the 24/7 constant care. Your
Mm-hmm.
serious condition, you're going to have, serious attendance, but it's not going to be like your regular inpatient types. There's going to be a little bit. Where was I? Critical condition will be in the ICU, so they'll have constant
Mm-hmm.
care. Your serious is going to be like your inpatient types, where they have rounds and they come, they check on them after the danger is primarily gone and they're stabilized. Your fair condition is going to be, well, they might be there a couple of nights.
Yeah. CNN also says the suspected shooter is believed to have known at least one of the victims, according to law enforcement officers.
Well, I assume so, and they keep calling it domestic.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, what would drive this person to shoot? If this was a crime of passion, as it is being, bandied about in some places, what would lead this person to shoot the unrelated people? Were they
Yeah.
trying to stop, or was she just that pissed off? Because I mean, this is not like your random school shooter that just goes in with out for blood, doesn't matter who.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would assume that these people had probably tried to interfere, or maybe scared or surprised the shooter, or maybe
Maybe. Yeah.
trying to make a point. I mean, that's some information I'd like to know, is what caused this person to shoot unrelated people. Or
I'm
perhaps one of the women who was shot was the reason why she shot the guy to begin with.
Maybe.
That's possible. I'm looking here. The LA Times is reporting that they have a short presser from Sheriff Ed Barberini, who's the sheriff in San Bruno.
And that's San Mateo County.
Correct. And according to what they were told, it's not definitive, but at the moment they believe it is a case of domestic or workplace violence, that it's not an act of terrorism.
Yeah, Fox was pretty clear about saying it was not terrorism.
So CNN here, they're repeating the 3 victims that I just read, and then they've got a little headline here: 3 hurt, 1 dead in shooting at YouTube headquarters. So it might be that USA is a bank. USA Today was correct in their assumption that the 4 was a grand total, because there's no mention of a 4th victim anywhere here. I suppose it's possible that the 4th victim just didn't have anything wrong with them. Maybe they, I don't know, stubbed their toe on a desk trying to get out of the office or something. But so, yeah.
Well, obviously, you know, the YouTube is still running, so there's no damage to the infrastructure of the company.
Right. Although, I suppose if you wanted to go on a mass flagging campaign against somebody, now would be the time to do it, because no one's going to be able to review your flags and see whether or not they're true.
That's a horrible thing to suggest.
I know, but
there was another report from one of the local affiliates, KTVU2. Apparently, they interviewed a witness who had been in the drive-through lane at the Carl's Jr. next to the YouTube campus, and that he had heard gunshots. And while they weren't able to immediately confirm his account, he said that he did help one woman seek refuge who had been shot once in the leg in the Carl's Jr.
Right. Fox was saying that one of the victims had made it there, but I didn't figure that was necessarily relevant.
Yeah, let's see.
Sorry, I'm just trying to compile as much data as possible at the moment.
Yeah, I'm on, like I said earlier, I'm on Twitter, which may or may not be a great idea, but I'm looking to see.
I think you might as well read some out. Let Ned do the heavy lifting. You do the entertaining stuff, and I'll sit here and nod and smile or cringe appropriately. Coming from Twitter, I assume it's going to be a lot of cringe.
Probably. Trying to see if I can't. I'm trying to find something that.
I'm trying to focus on the local affiliates because I figured they would have the most information.
Yeah, probably. We've got a guy. This is at Raymond Braun. I worked at the YouTube San Bruno office for 2 years. The employees at YouTube are some of the kindest, compassionate, brilliant, hardworking, and talented people I've ever met. I'm heartbroken and rattled by what happened today. Please send love to YouTube.
Well, I mean, they'll get some prayers. I don't know about love. I don't like them very much.
Yeah. Of course, we got some people. Anna Kasparian of the Young Turks Network, Young Turks.
Goodness.
ABC News is reporting that the shooter at YouTube in San Bruno is a white adult female, and luckily there have been no fatalities reported yet, unless, of course, you count the shooter. Unclear whether suspect is in custody at the moment. Oh, this was 2 hours. This was 2 hours ago. Sorry, I was like, what do you mean you don't know this?
That's maybe look and see if she's updated it yet.
Let's see.
Then somebody get on Young Turks and see how much they're cheering over the fact that it was a white person.
Gosh.
Those are some of the angriest, most hateful people I've ever seen on any media.
I know. Well, so far, Anna Kasparian is being factual and not saying too much.
Wait till the video tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I know.
Keep in mind, I don't actually know any of their names. I know the fat Persian-looking guy's face. That's about it.
Cenk Uygur.
Maybe. I
That's
don't know.
assuming that that's how you pronounce his first name. I might be wrong. And it's spelled Cenk, but I've heard people pronounce it Cenk.
How dare you assume his pronunciation?
Beats me. This chick sounds like she's smart. Emma Evans at Trance with me. She doesn't have a blue check mark, so she's not anybody important. She's just a person.
That's a horrible thing to say. Trance with me, you are important, and we love you.
Guys, remember...
unless you're saying something horrible.
Oh, no. Guys, remember, all initial reports are garbage. That's true. Don't spread false information. All we know for sure is that this was 2 hours ago, by the way. All we know for sure is that there's an active shooter situation in San Bruno. At YouTube, spreading misinformation only serves to terrify the F out of people. We won't know much for a while. That is so, so true.
I believe that the term they use these days is woke.
It's very woke of her. Here we go. Matt Pat of Game Theory. That's at MattPatGT. There's currently news of an active shooter at YouTube headquarters. Everyone, please pray for the safety of the employees there, many of whom are my friends. As a company that has changed so many lives for the better, including my own, this is something that affects us all.
Which is basically why we're doing this.
Oh, yeah. Paul Joseph Watson says active shooter YouTube HQ. Eyewitnesses say it's a woman. A lot of these tweets are older than the information that we have. So I'm, oh, here we go. We have 17 new results. Sources told ABC7 that the shooter is a white adult female. Shooter, that was 2 minutes ago. We know that already.
I've got, speaking of tweets here, I have one maybe more tangential to our audience. Linus Tech Tips got it tweeted that they had heard back from their rep who is safe.
That's good.
Oh, they have a rep actually embedded? That's interesting to know.
Apparently, Linus Tech Tips is a large enough channel that they actually have an individual YouTube rep dedicated to their channel.
I feel like I've heard Linus mention this person on his videos before, not by name or anything. But...
I'll be honest with you. I'm impressed with a lot of what he does, and I would like for us to eventually follow in his footsteps. Not specifically how he did it, but understanding that it took them years to get where they are.
Oh yeah.
I'd like for us to one day be like that. But I mean, watching his videos more frequently than other people's, still infrequently enough to only know 2 names of anybody there. Every time I see one of his videos, I see a new face in his office. So I don't doubt that he's mentioned somebody who's gone in one ear and out the other at some point. One of these days we'll be big enough where I can say somebody's name and you won't remember them the next day too.
That's right. Wow. Someone here tweeted, "We need an active shooter Disney princess." I think he's being... I think
that's a meme. That's a meme.
Well, yeah, he's not being serious, but...
Well, of course he's not being serious. He's being a shitlord, as they say. But I mean, that's...
Of course, I think this may have already been mentioned, but NPR tweeted out 24 minutes ago that Zuckerberg's San Francisco General Hospital has accepted the 36-year-old male in critical condition, the 32-year-old female in serious condition, and the 27-year-old in fair.
Okay, here's some of the crap that we were talking about earlier with just stupid, fake, politicized news. I don't know who this guy is. He doesn't have a blue check mark, so he's probably nobody. But report active shooter at YouTube headquarters could be a woman with Islamic style headscarf or headgear similar to photo below. No one's saying that. Shut up,
Well, I mean,
whoever you are.
technically, he's not lying because he said could be.
Well, yeah, and that's the
I mean,
problem.
semantically speaking, now, um, social sciencely speaking, if that's a word, it's not, mind you, but you know what I mean. It's a way to start to engender thought in one direction, which is
Mhm.
something that we don't want to do. Look, I mean, I generally support the conservative cause, being a constitutional libertarian myself, um, or rather, less than supporting the conservative cause, I oppose the opposing forces to that cause. Um, but even I recognize when people on my side are being just absolutely asinine for
Yeah.
no good reason.
Um,
If we're gonna win, I want us to win fair and
right.
truthfully, which is probably why we lost for so long, honestly.
Let's see. So Mike Cernovich, that's a name some of you might recognize. I
I
recognize
do
the
not.
name. I don't know exactly why I recognize his name, but he was retweeted by Paul Joseph Watson, and that person I know. Shep Smith reporting the woman initially shot boyfriend at YouTube headquarters party, and that's how this all started.
Ha,
Press.
told you.
Yep, and that was also 2 hours ago that this was tweeted. Um, some of these people I'm assuming are YouTube stars that I just don't know who they are.
Yeah, people say things like YouTube famous. I'm like, I've never heard of you.
I mean, I've heard of some of them. I know Matt Pat, and
I
I
I
I
I think
know.
I've heard you mention that name before. I know PewDiePie because everyone hated him for 5 minutes. Um, back when we were still doing JTR.
Yeah,
I know Linus because I appreciate most of his videos. I know it's Alex Clark because I love his style, even if I think the guy's message recently has been a bit wrong. And I know the guys from the Round Table because I do love me some cartoons.
I don't see anything from
Oh, Super, I know Superforge.
breaking up
Don't know
real
the
bad.
guy's name. Hollow Knight videos. Uh,
Oh, I wonder what Steven Crowder has said. He might actually still be banned from Twitter, so that would explain why. Oh wait, no, he tweeted 5 hours ago, so that must have lifted.
Steven Crowder is banned from Twitter. Changed my mind.
Let's see what else we got here.
Actually, I'm really more interested right now in what some kooks like Alex Jones are saying about it.
Oh yeah, look for him. Alex Jones.
It was aliens contacted by the Democratic Party to disrupt
You're breaking up.
the Democratic Party's party. A joke, anyway.
He's
Hey,
got one tweet about it, and it's simply that it happened. He's even, well, I should say, the Twitter account, Real Alex Jones, I guess that's him. His most recent tweet had absolutely
does
nothing
it
to
have
do with.
does it have the check mark though?
Yeah, it does. His most recent tweet is a video that's completely unrelated to YouTube.
How about
So
just a straight up Infowars Twitter?
Infowars. Nope, I don't want the hashtag. I actually want InfoWars. There we go. Eyewitness to the YouTube shooting on Tuesday. Said he didn't have a gun at the time, but he wished he did. I read that somewhere else. Yeah, that and the video that Alex Jones tweeted are the only two things that they've said about it. So,
well, that's interesting. What about Clinton? Any one of them, actually. Any one of the Clintons.
let's see here. Hillary Clinton. Last time she tweeted was March 30th.
Maybe she was actually more sick than we thought.
I doubt Bill Clinton's very active on Twitter. Let's check out their daughter. That sounded weird. Yeah, she hasn't said anything about it either. Trump has.
Of course. What does the God Emperor have to say about it?
Was just briefed on the shooting at YouTube's HQ in San Bruno, California. Our thoughts and prayers are with everybody involved. Thank you to our phenomenal law enforcement officers and first responders that are currently on the scene. And that is all.
It's the absolute best scene you've ever seen. Everybody knows it's the best scene.
So there's the POTUS Twitter still exists. And the POTUS Twitter that I guess was first used by Obama. It still exists, and it has that it's Trump. And I'm looking at it now. It is literally like just it solely exists to retweet Trump's personal Twitter. That's all that's on here. There are no original tweets.
I am willing to bet that President Trump doesn't let anybody else speak for him except for what's her name at the press briefings.
That makes sense to me. Ned, you find anything worthwhile?
I'm not finding any additional information so far. I'm finding a lot of the same things over and over again.
Yeah.
I mean, that's modern news for you. What I would like you to do, Ned, is look and see if you can find official news organizations that have actually started to put political spins on things. I want to know who the first person is who drops the ban all guns dime.
Michael Ian Black has already done that.
Yeah, he doesn't count. Michael Ian Black is a comedian, so what he has to say is absolutely irrelevant. And it's a shame, too, because I used to like the guy.
A California representative has referred to the incident as an act of terror, which, by the dictionary definition of the word terrorism, is not accurate. But if you're just going by it caused people to be terrorized, then yeah, sure.
Well, it's funny because that same party did not claim the label of terror when that guy went and shot up the senatorial baseball game.
Mm-hmm. People are already CNN criticized for sexist coverage of YouTube shooting. What?
Okay. I'd like to hear about that because, I mean, I want to know if these criticisms are coming from a legitimate source.
Well,
or if it's just garbage.
The article is on The Hollywood Reporter. After it was reported that the suspect who opened fire at YouTube headquarters was a woman, the network's coverage turned to speculation of love triangles and possible relationships. Yeah, because that seems to be what the cause was. They didn't just all of a sudden, oh, it was a woman. She must have had a crush on someone. That's not what happened, at least not as far as I know.
Well, I mean, look at it from a psychological perspective, right? Women and men, whether people want you to think so or not, have different motivations. They're wired differently, and that's just a fact. And I mean, you know, aside from that one girl who just really didn't like Mondays, I mean, because Garfield didn't like Mondays and he didn't kill anything but lasagna. Uh, Women tend to be more emotional about those things than men do. I'm not saying that men don't do that, but that is, I mean, there are stereotypes for a reason. They're always based on something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know.
So,
I just think at this point, jumping to claim sexism is just, it's silly in
yeah.
almost all cases anyway.
Yeah, and all the article after explaining that people thought it was sexism is just tweets. So, bunch of angry
Oh, I
people
hate
on
articles like
Twitter.
that.
Yeah.
It's just,
Surprisingly, MSNBC actually has a segment discussing the security at YouTube's headquarters.
hey, why don't you do us a favor and go over that, please? Because I'm curious.
Okay, give me just a second. I'm listening to the segment right now.
Okay.
All right, while you listen, if you want to mute us so you can concentrate, knock yourself out. Wow.
Ned's a man who cannot multitask, unless that multitask means looking at a chat.
Okay, I've seen this guy Peter Sweden and Laura Loomer pop up several times. They must
Who are
be.
they?
I don't know, but it's just I was just noticing that I keep seeing their Twitter account and like not the same tweet over and over again. It's a bunch of different ones. I don't know who they are though.
I mean, I gotta be honest. I've never understood why people sit there and just tweet over and over and over. I mean, in my opinion, just write a damn blog for goodness sake.
Yeah. Well, this Peter Sweden guy appears to be a right wing because his pinned tweet is exposing the far left lies about me. And then there's a video.
Okay,
Um,
that sounds like two YouTubers arguing.
yeah. So I'm going to not go down that rabbit hole.
I'm wondering, and this is perhaps inappropriate, but I wonder if Count Dankula is tweeting from his cell.
I think he has a. Is he in prison right now? I know he
He was
got.
sentenced.
Well, it would appear.
Okay, so I just finished listening to the segment they had on MSNBC about Google or YouTube's security. Apparently, the facility is set up very similarly to a college campus, so it's very open. There are fences and they do have guards, but they're plainclothes. So it's not very obvious or visible security from what they're saying on MSNBC. And also, it being a college-like campus. There's several other businesses on the grounds, like a restaurant. The person they were talking to, Karen Swisher, talked about how there's a restaurant on the corner that she walked into the other day and saw the CEO, Susan Wojcicki, was also eating there, and she said hi. So,
So, how many of you are familiar with the name Brianna Wu?
Oh my goodness.
Uh, tweet. I won't send hashtag thoughts and prayers to at YouTube employees. I have a 3-point plan to address our gun crisis. A, if you own a gun, I will mandate that you carry liability insurance. B, I support a broad outright ban of all assault weapons. And C, I will mandate gun safety classes. There's her tweet.
Well, here's my response to Brianna or Brian, or I still have yet to see proof that Brianna is actually a Brianna, and quite a bit of evidence to the contrary. Um, let me go ahead and address those points one by one. Would you read the bullet points
Uh,
for me, please?
yeah, let me get back to it. She actually has another tweet too, but this one was A, if you own a gun, I will mandate you carry liability insurance.
Okay. I will say that I support the idea of liability insurance on firearms, not as a restrictive measure, but as a, I hate to use this word, a common sense measure. Um, but only liability insurance as such as I made a mistake. Oh no, my gun went off and I accidentally shot somebody in the leg type of deal.
Mhm.
I don't necessarily believe that we should do it like we do automobiles, because I mean, come on, man, shall not be infringed. Okay, number two.
I
May I
support.
add on to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
And the thing is, there's already private organizations like the USCCA that already do things like that as is. The USCCA, if you join their program, you get up to $1 million of both liability and legal insurance, basically, to help pay for any legal fees that may incur from you having to discharge your firearm.
Right, and I've actually seen
Mhm.
videos from people who have had to use that. And the first one I saw, believe it or not, was a black NRA member with his CCP um, in Illinois, I think. Don't quote me on that, but it was actually an interesting story. It was about 4 minutes long. But number two, please.
Um, I support a broad, outright ban of all assault weapons. Which,
Assault weapons. Anything's an assault weapon. That's stupid.
yeah, I
Next.
agree. I will mandate gun safety classes, which
Okay, you
there's
know what?
already a thing. I had to take
Well,
one.
they're a thing, but they're not mandated. Okay, if one of my plans, one of my platforms personally, when I run in the next gubernatorial cycle in the state of Tennessee, is to include mandate through the Department of Education for life skills classes. And one of those classes, one of those rotational classes, is going to include the mandatory putting guns back in schools. And I don't mean actually putting guns in schools, but I do mean um, making gun education safe, so that people understand what's going on. Have your NRA instructor who does nothing but teach gun safety constantly come in for an hour a semester to remind people, hey kids, don't pull that trigger or don't rack that slide. I had a friend in McIntosh, Florida, which is near Micanopy, near Gainesville, right around Paynes Prairie. I'm sure you know the area. Um, he was a kid when I was a kid, and he had a sister, and there was a pistol in his house, and he took a loaded magazine, he popped it in the gun, he racked the slide, and then popped the magazine back out without realizing that when he racked the slide, he chambered around, pointed a gun at his sister, and he pulled the trigger and shot her in the head. He's been in prison for the last 25 years or so now. My mother, when she was a nurse down there, actually sat with her and kept her company and kept her cared for about a week before she finally died. And simple little information that video games don't teach you, that movies and television and Hollywood don't teach you, that simply racking the slide will chamber around. It's it's information that's vital, because that was completely an accident. He was just playing around, but he killed his sister. Um, Now, there are guns these days that when you pop the magazine out, it's not going to fire either way. For instance, my Bursa Thunder 380, it has like 7 different fail safes to keep you from shooting if anything is wrong. Um, but that doesn't take the place of properly knowing how to handle a weapon, how to behave around a weapon, how not to act around a weapon. And it probably wouldn't hurt for Hollywood to throw PSAs in some of their movies and TV shows from time to time, like they did back in the day. Um, so I firmly agree. I absolutely agree. I adamantly agree with Brian Woo's third point.
Mm-hmm.
And the irony of that point is the organization that they attack the most often, the NRA, is the one who has some of the most extensive and does some of most the most extensive gun safety and education training in the country.
Right, but never let facts get in the way of a good narrative.
I'm seeing a tweet here. It's politically leaning, but I potentially learned something about the shooting itself from it, so I'm gonna go ahead and read it. Liberals are in a quandary. This was a handgun, you know. I have not read anything yet saying what the weapon was. I mean, I have assumed that it's a pistol of some sort, but I this guy seems now. Of course, like I said, the tweet is political in nature, so he could just be talking out of his butt.
Could be, but my assumption would be handgun as well, for a lot of different reasons. But the easiest and most basic one to say is it's California.
Yeah. Um. Anyway, the rest of this article about Brianna Wu is apparently she has just been on a tirade of
Well, she's always on a tirade.
yeah, so I'm not gonna sit here and read all of it, but she's doing what she can. All the same no, so there's a Time, is it Time? Yeah, Time magazine article. Headline: Female shooter wounds four, then kills herself. So we're back to four victims plus the shooter. The article also points out that one of the shooter's victims was not taken to the hospital. So that's probably where that confusion was coming from. People were
Right. Well, I
reporting
mean,
who went to
Fox
the
did say
hospital and
two non-life threatening.
right.
I mean, for all
So
we know, somebody might have just had a minor concussion
yeah.
from tripping over something.
So yeah, so Time saying at least four people were injured in the incident, three of whom were brought to San Francisco General Hospital. Hospital spokesman Brent Andrews said at a press conference, and reiterating one 36-year-old male in critical condition, two females are being treated at the hospital. This says one of the females is also in critical condition, whereas the other article that I read said that she was in serious condition, which is probably, neither here nor there. It's probably similar.
It's probably just the way they prefer to report it. I mean, honestly, there's not a whole lot of difference between critical and serious.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and those statuses change up and down based on all sorts of things. Maybe all of a sudden they realize that one of them isn't clotting properly and they're starting to bleed out. Or maybe found that, oh no, a medicine we used is she's deathly allergic to and now she's upgraded to critical. There's a
Right.
lot of things. Um, now, a thought popped in my head a bit ago that is more, I don't know, more of a social question than anything else. If this were not YouTube, if this were, say, McDonald's or Volvo, would we still be covering it? Not we specifically.
That's a good question.
Because, I mean, there's shootings all the time at fast food places and at gas stations and small establishments that have very little to do with the common social mindset of the time, right?
Right.
If it wasn't used, if it was MySpace, even MySpace hasn't been big in 10 years.
Yeah. The news there would be there's people that work at MySpace to
Yeah,
be shot.
Well, I mean, technically they're still not small. MySpace still is a thing.
Oh yeah.
I
It's
used
just
them very, very much when I was still in the music industry, but
mm-hmm.
and that's pretty much what they've moved to is that sort of media type of deal.
Yeah. But I mean, you're right. If someone had walked into the McDonald's down the street and shot, heck, if somebody walked into the McDonald's down the street from me and with a bomb and blew it up and killed 40 people, I'd question whether or not this would be,
Well,
other than a blurb.
Well, I mean, you're in Milton, Florida, right?
Right.
Or that area.
Yeah.
You're in a small town, middle of nowhere, West Florida Republic. Okay, now maybe if you were in Miami.
Yeah, then maybe. Or some other big city, Atlanta.
Well, see, Atlanta, the first thing they would do is say, oh, this lady must have been racist.
Right.
That's conjecture. They might not do that. I got to think better of people.
You do. Yeah, and I keep refreshing the Twitter feed. I keep refreshing YouTube, or not YouTube, Google. Not learning a whole lot. I kind of getting to where I don't know that we are going to learn much else tonight. I mean, other than maybe a confirmation of the shooter's motives if we get that.
Well, maybe we haven't accomplished anything newsworthy, but I will say this: we have accomplished keeping me awake for the last hour.
You cut out. We accomplished what?
Keeping me awake for the last hour.
Well, that's good. I'm glad we did that. Um, I would be much more willing to stick around if I had not had than that if I have had dinner already, but I haven't. I got home. You told me about this. I kicked my wife off the computer and hopped on.
Sorry, April.
Well,
My bad.
she was mostly done with it. So with that in mind, I don't mind leaving this running if you two want to stay on here. But I want to. But I want to go eat.
Here in about 30 minutes, but
I think an actual produced talking head should be made on this.
Yes.
At the earliest possible convenience, with all relevant hashtags, quickly as possible, because we, like I said before, we want to keep that trending wave. But that's the cold, calculated side of me. Everybody watching can ignore that.
Right. Well, if nothing else, like it's 6:30 my time. If at the very least, I'll go ahead and tell y'all this because I don't know what I'm going to be capable of making here tonight. But at the very least, I do have a regularly scheduled talking head tomorrow night. Whether I get anything out tonight or not, that will definitely be the topic of tomorrow's, and that will probably be way more informational because we'll have a good 24 hours or more between the event happening and me getting the video up. So we'll have more information. But I will go eat, and I will see what I can't do about getting in here and putting together something quick. It might be me in front of the green screen, which is like the old talking heads. But because I feel like putting this over gameplay is tacky. So
maybe putting it over stills or shots from actual newscasts.
Right.
That way we can keep the aesthetic, but not feel like, well, hey, look, it's cute Kirby. Somebody died, by the way.
Right. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and end it here so that we can go do what we got to do. Like I said, I will after I eat dinner, I'll come back in here and see what I can't get going. But most definitely tomorrow's episode of Talking Heads will be more coverage of this, and like I said, we'll have more information by then because there'll just be more news. So I think it's gonna do it for us. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned here. Be praying about all of this. Be praying for the victims' families, the police officers that are out there. And like I said before, the people who get forgotten the most in this are going to be the family and friends of the shooter. So make sure you pray for them because like I said, they're probably more shocked that this happened than anybody involved. So keep them in your prayers and try and keep it civil when you're out there talking. And yeah, that's all I got to say. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you around.